guest today is Brian Weems, the new head coach of the New Mexico Runners. And Brian, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you having me.
Brian, I tell you, what a from my spec, one from Pro View, you and I go back, probably 10, 12 years, and when you were at Sandia, and I want to appreciate for one all your hard work at Sandia, and also the way you really treated Pro View Networks.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride, right, Steve? long days as an athletic director.
Yeah, I tell you, it was fun, but the energy you brought, it was very, for the student athletes at Sandia, and also the coaches. I mean, it was like every time I was there, you were there, so that was awesome to see you come there, and you were always very so hospitable, and I wanted to thank you for that. Now you went from there to start coaching Rio Grande. Speak on that behalf real quick.
Yeah, so I started thinking about coaching again. I got the itch for a couple of years ago. My son is almost 7, and I really wanted to spend a lot of time with him too. It was mostly a family decision where I miss coaching, and I needed to get less hours so I could spend more time with my son. So Rio Grande was really a perfect fit. I also missed the classroom. I teach geometry and algebra, and I missed the classroom quite a bit as well. So all that combined with the community down here at Rio Grande, and missing coaching and teaching and being around my son and my wife a lot more influenced me to get back into coaching. So I've been doing this now for a year and a half here at Rio Grande, and I'm happy being here doing that.
Well, I'll tell you, you must have got a phone call from Andreas, and kind of speak on. We went to the luncheon, but nobody ever really talked about how that all came about. But I tell you, when I went to that luncheon, and that was at high noon, I was like, because I didn't know who the head coach was. Andreas just said, "Hey, come do a report or do something for him." And so I was there, and I said, "Well, yeah, I'll come over and meet it." And so you caught me off guard when I walked in. I was like, "You're the head coach," and so speak on that phone call a little bit, and talk about your. You and Andres have gone back before and been speaking. So just talk on that behalf.
So yeah, that's a good question. So Andres and I go way back to the Gladiator days. So Andres was the owner of the Duke City Gladiators, and I was kicking for them at 38 years old, and back in 2017, and that's how we got to know each other. Then once I retired from doing that, him and I had a conversation about being the head coach of the New Mexico Runners back then. But it didn't work out because I became an athletic director and I just had my son. So my wife and I just had our son. So it didn't work out, but we kind of followed each other's careers, and I followed the Runners for years. And then once I got back into coaching, he knew about it, and we kind of stayed with each other on that situation. He followed me at Rio Grande, and I followed him with the New Mexico Runners. And then eventually I got a phone call. He called me after they lost their last game to Chihuahua. And we had a nice conversation about where the team was headed, what my ideas were about how we could make this team better, just kind of get my insight. And then it grew from there, more conversations as the week transpired. And once we had more conversations about it, then once everything came together and my family supported me, he asked me to be the head coach of the New Mexico Runners. So our relationship back then kind of transpired to now. I'm coaching high school soccer, so he knew I was coaching again. And he also knew that I like to build programs. So I'm happy to say that I built a program at Berlin. We did really, really good at Sandia, and I'm building a program here at Rio Grande. So I think that it was a perfect fit, and that's the story basically behind the scenes.
Well, I tell you, you were thrown right into it. I mean, your first game was on the road. I mean, did you even get to practice, or you just showed up as a head coach? And speak on that experience. I mean,
that's another great question, Steve. I literally was named the head coach the following week, but I was an interim coach that week just to help them out against Wichita. My first practice was Thursday, and we played Saturday. So for the first 45 minutes, I got to know the players as much as I could. Then I got to see them play. And then we had a Friday walkthrough, and literally Saturday we played. What a whirlwind. 10-hour drive there. The guys got off the bus and played the game. I'm used to the indoor football experience, so I kind of had a notion of how things work behind the scenes as far as that minor league situation goes. But then it was really just up to the players and myself to try to do as best we could. And I think we did really well. We only lost by 9, which is better than the previous result. We only brought 12 guys up there. So at first I thought I was going to have to suit up again. I'm 45 years old, thinking that I'm going to have to play. But we had enough guys to play, and the guys took care of it themselves. I brought an assistant coach to help me, and Andres, gave me the whirlwind on the rules. I mean, I literally had to figure out the rules in 2 days too. So it was not much of a breather at all.
Well, speak on the rules, and might educate everybody about just on arena soccer. So,
well, obviously it's a lot different than outdoor. It's faster. There's different rules as far as blue cards and yellow cards and too many men on the field and power plays and power kills and set pieces. It's a whirlwind of knowledge to learn. How many timeouts you get per half. There's a lot to learn, a lot. And I'm learning as I go. I'm learning fast as fast as I can. But it is definitely a change from the outdoor game. Soccer is soccer, and the same things happen on the field, but the terminology is different, right? So instead of the final third, it's their defensive third, or it's just different kind of variations that I have to learn as I go. But I'll say at the same time, I mean, there is a lot to learn.
Well, one thing is it's quick. I mean, the action, and I get this all from Andreas, and I'll be, no disrespect. I've been to like one game, okay, so and I already know where it's coming. I'm going to be at the games from now on. So just to root you on and to see how the season progresses. But I talk about that experience that you went through. You had your first home game, and the result didn't come out as a win, but there's a lot of great positive and a lot of good energy from that game.
Yeah, I think the players did a really good job of being motivated to not lose to Wichita again. They came out with a really good energy and confidence. And that's what I'm trying to instill in them is confidence. Confidence that they're good enough to win every game they play. We have really good players on this team. I just think they needed a little bit more direction, and I think they needed a little bit more focus on their energy levels. And we've been working on endurance and basically just schematically a different approach too. So tactically, we worked on zone defense and instead of chasing the ball. So that's just one thing we learned that was new. So what we like to do is we like to kind of do a zone defense. It's called stacking the house. So you have 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, and 1 forward. And what they do is it's kind of like a zone coverage in basketball. And once we receive the ball, once we get the ball, then we can counter them. And I think it's a lot better than chasing players because what they were doing before was chasing too much. And when they chase players, then they have a chance of losing the players and then more goals get scored. So once we counter them, and if we lose the ball in their defensive third, then we like to high press them and high press them so we can win the ball back. So just a couple of schematic approaches and differences to change the game a little bit, to give them a little bit more of an identity for the team. What I'm really happy about too is we scored on the power play, and they hadn't scored on a power play all season. And we shut them down like 3 or 4 times on their power plays. They're a very good team, Wichita. They're the number 1 team in the league. So for us to only lose 10-8 and to be in it right at the end, the very last 2 minutes, says a lot about the character of our team.
I tell you what, we're going to go to the Everguard Roofing and Solar Top 10 Plays of the Week. Come back, talk more about New Mexico Runners.
here for the Siegel Cougars, as that one is denied.
Off the front iron, rebound, Diabate. Another chance for Adams, and he hits it.
Trying to thread the needle, and he threw it away. That's an unforced error. Here comes the game. And Ocellian makes up for the mistake.
Entirely new crew out here. Next time we get a whistle, Adams scores again. Adams gets the put back, and he puts it right back again.
Oh, what a beautiful bounce. But Oli, who Euro stepped by a defender for the layup. Another dime for... Ocellian finds it, we know. Inside, another dunk. Two-hand slam. Bounce pass, stolen away, fast hands, Bramlett gives it to Butler. Dunked it!
Still, one hand dunk for Peters.
Lob upstairs to the elevator.
An inbound play.
Hobbs catch. Oh, block. Butler. Huge. Diabate.
They got to get shot up now. They got to get shot
Harris,
up.
12 seconds left. Poked away.
Oh,
Butler. Here comes the money. No. Yes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We got Brian Weems, the new New Mexico Runners soccer head coach. I got basketball in mind. I've been watching those top 10 plays, but anyway, Brian, like I said, I really, and this is not to put any more pressure on you because I know it is, but I expect good things. Okay, and you go back to that your first home game and just the improvement. This team had won previous, with higher scores and like you said, down to the last 2 minutes, this was as good as it got as far as in your first home game.
Yeah, it was fun, but that started in practice. So we had a full week of practice, and the good news is that we're gonna have a full 3 weeks of practice before our next game against Wichita. So I'm kind of treating this like a preseason, where we do a lot of running, a lot of conditioning, a lot of strength training. Props to the shop for helping us out for that. And a lot of, like critical technical things that we need to work on. That's what I wanted to change, their approach and practices, and confidence. So one of the things that I'm proud about is that, we have 25, 27 guys showing up to practice every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 or 4 days a week. They were having 10 or 15. So if you buy in and you understand that practice is what makes you a champion, then the games will be easy. That's what my motto is. Practice is hard, winning is easy. And that's what we've been doing. We've been going really, really hard for an hour and a half, 2 hours, every single morning during the week, and just working on those things. Endurance is a big deal for me because the more in shape you are, the less mistakes you make in any sport. So especially defensively, one-on-one situations, especially in the indoor game. If you can clean that up and be as effective as possible mentally and physically for the games, you have a really, really good shot of winning. And so that's one of the things that changed, I believe, was buying into being prepared. And being prepared is in practice. And so I take practice very seriously. We work on a lot of things we need to work on. And I think guys got better just in that first week in that practice. Then good news is now we've been able to get a little bit more time off to work on strength training, to work on endurance, and this week we're going to work on our tactics. So a lot of things that go into this game. And if you're going to try to win in any sport at any level, you have to prepare. And if you prepare right, you have a good chance of winning.
You make a great point. One is accountability to practice is basically what you're saying. I mean, and starting, let people know what time you start practice and how demanding this is, because these are not, these people have jobs and have things. And speak on that, Dale. I mean, it's not a full professional. That's not how they make their main living, but you have to have commitment from people to make that commitment.
That's exactly right. So we go at 5 a.m. 3 or 4 days a week. Last week, we went 4 days a week. 2 of the days we're working on tactics. 1 of the days was strength training. And then Friday, we did film session. So it's a full-time gig without getting paid. So these guys have to buy in to say, hey, let's do this and do it well, represent New Mexico, represent the runners, represent Andres, and, without that side incentive of being paid. A lot of these guys have families. A lot of them are in their 30s, jobs and little kids, and they basically there from 5 to 6:30 in the morning before anyone wakes up to do what they love to do. And we talked about that. We talked about how much I love coaching and how much they love playing. And wouldn't you rather play at that amazing Rio Rancho Event Center in front of a lot of fans than playing recreational league? Do this while you can. Do this while you're able to do it. And if the opportunity presents itself to where you can play in front of a lot of fans and your family and people are buying tickets just so you could play and you can have this wonderful experiences, then you should do it and take advantage of it. And so I think the guys have to remember that sometimes, why they're doing it. And once they have it in their mindset of how important it is for this community and how important it is for their families and themselves, they'll play even better.
Well, let's speak on the Rio Rancho Event Center. I mean, just during the break, my question to you was, and you actually caught me off guard a little bit, was how does this rate with all the other venues that you've watched in or been to? You only been to one so far, but I mean, you might have been watched many of them. But how does this rate as far as the rest of the league?
Andres and his crew and his family do an amazing job of taking care of us and giving us the best possible venue possible. The Rio Rancho Event Center plus the turf is fantastic. The locker room is top notch. I haven't been to, obviously, I've only been to one, Wichita, but I've watched a lot on YouTube and I've watched a lot of arenas, and this is easily comparable with a lot of the League One arenas. I believe it's actually better than a lot of them. So Andres does a great job of delivering that for the players, and we're just happy to be there because it's just an amazing place to play.
Now, one question, other question is, y'all practice there all? Is that where you practice every day, or do you practice?
No, we practice at 2 places. One, the International, and at the shop. So whenever Andres can get us in there prior to our home games, he gets us in there. But we practice actually at a smaller facility, the International, which they do a good job. It's a beautiful place, and the shop. The thing is, it's a little bit more difficult, and I'm learning this as I go. Is that when you practice at a smaller venue, and then you play at a larger, normal size arena league indoor facility, it changes a lot of things. So the players have to be mentally prepared for that, because when we practice, it's like saying practice on a small area of soccer field, and all of a sudden you play on a big soccer field. So you have to be mentally and physically prepared for that. So there's a lot of challenges that the players have to do. Because you can't always get into your home arena, so that's another challenge we have to do.
Well, I can relate to that. Basically, at Sandy, a perfect example is you have the big gym, and then you go in the back gym. It's amazing how much quicker and faster that you can get up and down the court, and then when you get in the bigger, how how out of shape you were because you're playing on a bigger court. So
yeah, it's a lot more running. Yep.
And basically you have a mindset, and I think that the thing I'm hearing from you is that just, confidence comes with being mentally tough. Okay. And toughness comes with conditioning. I mean, you throw all those elements in, and then that turns out to be success. Okay. And then of all the successes, then getting a culture of winning every time you go out on the field.
Yeah, it is a culture. I'm trying to change their culture and change their mindsets. Doing film, getting these guys together, doing different drills to make them better. Because I believe they want to be pushed. These are professional athletes. They want to be pushed. They want to try really hard, and they want to succeed. And I think that in order to win, you have to push them. I have to push them to their limits. I mean, it works. I get my high school kids, and we start in June, and we go straight for 2 months, 4 or 5 days a week. So we're prepared for the season. I always use it like a boxer, right? Like a boxer, is in the ring for less than 10 minutes maybe, and they work out for 6 months to prepare for that 10-minute boxing match. So if you're physically and mentally capable of doing something, and doing something really, really well, you have to be physically and mentally ready for it.
Well, Brian, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk about upcoming games and the rest of the season.
Sounds good.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We had Brian Weems, New Mexico Runners head coach, and this will be your 3rd game coming up in 3 weeks. Is that correct?
Yeah, like I said, the good news is I'm pulling up the schedule right now. The good news is we have some time off. Like I said, I'm treating this as a preseason so we can get our conditioning right, our focus tactically and technically in certain areas, especially with our new defensive strategies and our offensive strategies. So I'm looking at the schedule right now. We play Sunday, February 23rd at Rio Rancho Event Center. Hopefully everyone can come out and watch and support this team. We played the same team as we did a couple of weeks ago in Wichita, number 1 team in the league. And then we go to Oklahoma. And then we we come back here at home, and then we go to Mexico, play Chihuahua, which is the second best team in the league. And then we end up, our last home game is on the 23rd. So total of 6 games left.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, and I should have talked to you on the break about this, but how do you get tickets? I mean, how do you I mean, I know Andreas does that, but I'm sure you have. Do you go to a website? Do you buy?
Yeah. So you just Google NM Runners, New Mexico Runners, And the website that Andres created is fantastic. You basically just says there's a button, a link that says tickets, and you just buy tickets from there. It's really easy.
Well, I guess Aaron, and he just put it up on the thing. I don't think you can see that, but he's got all the season tickets, group tickets, and promotions. They just go to the website and get in there and support. And I think that's the biggest thing. That one thing I have learned, people, if we can get, and I'll say we ProView and we're all involved as a community, if we can get people to go to the Rio Rancho, they have a good time. That's one thing I speak on that behalf. On your first game, you only done one game, but it's kind of overwhelming of the fan base that Andreas has already built up.
You hit it right on the head. It is action packed, fast paced soccer, and it's nonstop. My parents and my family, my wife, and everybody else watched me play with Gladiators, and they thought that this is way more fun because it was nonstop. And the action is nonstop. The lines come in and out. There's goals left and right. I mean, there's 15 goals. There was 18 goals at last game. So if you want goals, come to the game, because I'm telling you, this is a really, really fun environment. They do a great job of throwing stuff out with popcorn and everything else, and T-shirts during the timeouts. It is a really fun family environment that you can do on a Sunday afternoon and take the family out there and watch some really, really good soccer.
Well, not only you can take the family out, but there's things to do inside in the Rio Rancho Convention Center. I mean, Andre they have things set up for the kids to do, so you can actually make an afternoon out of it. But besides watching the team play, I mean, you can actually make it just a great atmosphere for the family to go to before the game and see all the things the exhibits that are put up and all the things and speak more on that behalf.
Yeah, and actually, what's great about this is that the kids and the family, anybody you want, are able to come down after the game and visit with the players. So they can get autographs, they can talk to the players, you can talk to the coaches, talk to anybody. So they're able to actually get on the field and go play a little soccer if they have a little soccer ball. My son had a really good time of playing some soccer after the game and meeting the players. So it's really fan friendly. It's really, about community and about fun. So Andres has made a really good product, and the players are really good, very high action paced. A lot of them played college soccer. Some played even Major League Soccer. Nick Cashmere played at the highest level. Some of these guys are really, really good soccer players that played all of them were good soccer players, but some of them played at the highest level. So that's the best part, is the product is there. The Rio Rancho Event Center hosts us really well, and they have tons of activities before and after and during the games.
No, I tell you, like I said, I went to one game and I was just overwhelmed. Now, the next game I come to, I'm going down on the field. I'm going to hang out with you and feel like feel like I know what I'm doing, get more involved. And I think that really that's what brings you to the table right now is one, your personality, the people you know. And I'm running out of time here, but I just want to speak on that behalf of your commitment.
Yeah, I mean, when I do something, I do it 100%. I'm fully committed to this organization, to righting the ship. I believe we have enough talent to make it do really, really good things. I'm glad we have this particular break so we can adjust things and get better. But to do, our last result, to only lose 10-8 against the number one team in the league says a lot about these players. I believe that they're fully committed. I think they're ready to go. I think just needs some twerks here and there. I need to learn a lot of things about the indoor game. My staff does too. The players that never played indoor at this level need to work as well. And once we get our veterans with our rookies and myself on the same page, then I think once we start winning, maybe the fans will even come even more. So,
well, Brian, we got to come to an end, and I want to thank you for coming on, and I appreciate this, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the field. How's that?
All right, sounds good.